Hey, welcome to another edition of Avidgolfer Magazine's Drive Time Feature. Now this month, forget about gas mileage, forget about going to the gas pump. This is all about electricity. This is the new age, folks. And Porsche has come out with their brand new Taycan. Looks like Taycan when you see it spelled. It's Taycan. A little bit of trivia here. What it means in kind of Turkish phrasing, it's lively young horse. And that's a testament to the steed that's in the Porsche emblem. So a little bit of trivia there for you. This is what we're going to look at today, the 2020 Porsche Taycan. I want to thank the great folks over at Park Place Porsche in Dallas for the opportunity. So now that we have the opportunity, let's give you a peek at the inside, the outside, and of course the driving performance of the Porsche Taycan. All right, here's the front of the 2020 Taycan. As I mentioned earlier, the name Taycan means young, lively horse. As you can see it on the emblem right there, it's an ode to that famous Porsche brand. So this is the front. You can see a lot of sports fascia here, all plastic. You have your camera. You have your camera here. You have some air vents that go through the tires all the way to the rear. And so that adds a little bit of airflow. I like the, it's unmistakably a Porsche. There's no doubt about it. And I like the fact they kept that so that one thing about Porsche brand, it is instantly recognizable. So you can see the these are the symbolic four-cornered headlights. I love that look. Looks special to me. And let me show you this trunk real quick. All right, since this has no proper engine in this, you do have two areas where you have a little bit of a storage space. You can open up the front, and you got a nice little cubby hole right here. You can probably put a small overnight bag. You can put laptops. You can, I mean, also it's also a four-door, so you can put stuff in the rear seat too, as well as the trunk. But this gives you a little bit of room here for something. And it's better than nothing, and I'm glad the fact that they did it. This 4S is optioned up with the Mission 2 wheels. These are really close to the concept, which is always nice. You know, you get all excited about a concept car, and then when the production car comes out, it looks nothing like it. This looks pretty close, which is always a good thing. You have these brake calipers. You can get those painted. These are black, obviously. You can get them white. I think you can get them red, maybe even yellow. So it's mostly your car. I think it's a great accessory, by the way. Here's the charging station. There are two of them, one on each side of the car, so for easy access when you're going to a charging station or doing it in your house. The side looks awesome. Now when I come up, this is a cute little party trick. So if I lock it, and then I walk up to the car, the handles automatically come out, and the side view mirrors will unfold. I think that's pretty cool. All right, I love the outside of the Taycan. Obviously it's a four-door. Some would say it resembles the four-door Panamera in the Porsche line, but it utilizes a different chassis specifically for an electronic powered car versus gas. So I like this little trim here. I think this looks really cool, and I like it in red, but if you really like contrast with your trim, I'd probably go more with the white, but that's just my prerogative. As you can see, when you come towards the rear here, this is staggered rubber. These are larger tires, and in the front still 21-inch rims. And when we go back towards the rear, you'll see how wide the haunches are in this car, and I think it gives it a very sporty and a very planted look. The top, again, very aerodynamic. This has one huge glass panoramic roof. Does not have a cover on the inside to shield against the sun, but it is tinted, so that's a good thing. And it does not open or close. It's a static item on this car, but I think it allows a lot of light to come in, especially if you have a dark interior. All right, so here's the rear. This is what I like about this car. I like the fact it's really bold. It expands out over the larger tires in the rear. Gives it like I said, a really sporty, planted look. Looks hefty from the rear, but still streamlined, which is kind of a tough thing to do. I like the way how Porsche designed it. As you can see here, no exhaust. You don't need it with an electric car. So it is a little, it's kind of disconcerting when you first see it, then you realize what it is and you go, huh, okay. So this is a spoiler. It's very subtle. It only goes up about this much, and it only rises when the car is in driving mode, when it goes over a certain mile per hour. Otherwise, you can still open it up on the interior with a button, and it will raise slightly so you can wipe underneath when you're cleaning your car. Kind of a cool little feature. And for a Porsche sedan that's not a Panamera, pretty good trunk. Here's your charging. There's all your charging stuff that's in there. It can go to a 240, it can go to 110. Best mode is go to a charging station. We'll tell you how Porsche deals with that when you charge it from your home. You see here, pretty decent trunk size. You can also lower the rear seats, even gives you more room. So for utility purposes, this is really good for a Porsche that's not one of their SUV models. All right, let's check out the rear of the Taycan. This is a 4-door. Actually has some pretty good room. I can put my feet underneath the seat and it's not hitting anything. This is my normal drive mode. I'm a little under 6 feet. Everybody that's not 6 feet, by the way, says they're a little under 6 feet. But I have more than enough room back here. A lot of knee room there. This is the 2-seat bucket system. So this comes standard. You can get a bench seat if you'd like, but I think the 2-seater works really well. And then you can pull this down and you still have your cup holders. In addition to that, you have your climate controls underneath the console there, and you can actually adjust those separately from the front. Gives you a little bit of room. You also have a lighting, your own light here if you want to read. Some people like to do that when they're in the back seat. You can, you have your panoramic roof up here. It's kind of bowed, which is nice because it does give you some more headroom up here. It's pretty tinted, so the sun shouldn't beat down on you, but there's no way to close it with a sunshade or anything, and it does not move up or down for like venting. But all in all, I like it. I like a bright, airy look, especially when you have a dark interior like this. The materials are nice. Nice, soft, leatherette, plastique type deal. I like it. It feels good to the touch. And you have a little bit of space in here for some extra storage, not much, but again, it is Porsche, it's mostly for driving, but there's a little bit. Again, you have the trunk and you have the front trunk to add some extra room for knickknacks and so forth. But in all, I think it really feels nice. Very supportive, and you do have some good lateral support in case the driver gets a little rambunctious, which is okay. But all in all, I think the back seat is good stuff, and especially for a 4-door, it's not cheating you out of anything. Okay, outside of driving, the interior of this car has a lot to be discussed because there's some really cool features on it, partly because it's all electric and partly because Porsche has added some nice little gizmos in here to, well, to complete your driving pleasure. As you look here, the steering wheel, boy, it's got a great steering wheel. I mean, Porsche is all about driving, and so it feels great in my mitts. That's how that works. You have your drive modes over here. You can see it over here. I can change the drive mode. It's in normal now. Now watch this. You can see this, the range, what I have left on the juice. So in normal driving, I have 147 miles left. If I put it in Sport, down 144. Sport Plus, 140. If I go to range, I have up to 150. And it also says up here above the range, maximum 70 miles an hour. It will not let you go over 70 miles an hour if you want to get the full range of the power, which is kind of cool because I think a lot of people when they're looking at an electric car, they're worried what they call range anxiety, and they're not sure if they have enough juice left to get to where they need to go. So this gives you a pretty good idea just by a glance, which I really like. This is also programmable. This is a really cool display here. I can change this. I can change this to the, right now it's in, I can change it to G-force. So when I'm driving, it tells you what my G's are pulling. It's always kind of fun. If I go to all-wheel, this is an all-wheel drive car, rear wheel bias. So as you go, and depending when it needs more traction in the front, it'll show you that. And that's about it on that side. If I go to the middle, okay, so the cool thing about this, I have it in the middle. I can go ahead, make it an extended map. So now the whole screen is a map. It's kind of neat. You have your digital display up here, how fast you're going, the speed limit signs over here, which is very handy. It does not have a head-up display, but since the digital speedometer is right there, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But again, you can program this if you'd like. It's kind of up to you. So here's some interesting things about the Taycan. Here's your gear shift over here. There's no gear shift on the console. There's no shifting in this car. It's one way, it's as fast as you want to go, as slow as you want to go. This is drive, this is reverse, this is neutral, and then you have your parking over here. As far as your ignition, Porsche always has their ignition on the left. That was an old thing they started with racing teams. And you just essentially just push the button on and off, and that's all it is. It's completely silent. All right, so as you can see here, here's your 360 display, very high quality definition there in your rear, so that's really neat. I can go ahead and get out of that. Now there's two items here. This is your menu screen. You can touch screen it if you'd like. Do that. I can go back, but I can also, if I go to navigation and I want to go somewhere, I can go ahead and write
L S.
So that's pretty cool.
L.
And it shows up on the screen. Kind of a neat deal. And this is all through this separate scratch pad, I'm going to call it touch pad here, which controls everything up here. If I go to media, you have your Sirius, you have your radio. I can hook up my Bluetooth to it. It's a nice Bose system. It cranks out more than enough power, more than enough wattage. All right, so now we get to the climate. So you come here, here's your heated seats. And here's your cooled seats. And these are vented seats. So that, oh, I can feel it. It's really strong. It feels really good. So it's warm here in Texas today. And then if I want to go to climate. Okay, so these vents are fixed. You cannot move these vents manually through here like you normally could on a typical car, right? What you do here is you can move your directional airflow by touching. So diffused is it kind of goes out and about. Focused, we'll put it pretty much directly on the front seat drivers. And then individual, you can change that as well. Now watch this. I can change this depending on where I want my airflow to go. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. So it's kind of a neat little way to try stuff, and I like it. And it's another mode just to show people what this thing can do. It's kind of cool. And obviously the person in the passenger seat can do the same thing. That's kind of neat. Okay, remember I was telling you about the rear spoiler. It only goes up when you're driving, unless you want to clean it underneath. Then you hit vehicle, you hit manual position, and it raises the spoiler, which is kind of cool. Extend spoiler, retract spoiler, and there you go there. So that's pretty neat. Everything else, as far as the charging, it gets about 250 miles if you go in normal driving. And as I said earlier, if you change the drive modes, it will tell you exactly how many miles, roughly how many miles you'll have left. Obviously, if you punch it more, it'll take a little bit off as far as the power capacity. But pretty true, 250 miles, I would say. I've been driving it for over 100 miles in sport and non-sport, and it seems to be pretty apropos. You can change your fans here. The only thing that you can't do until you put in your favorites is you have to hit buttons. You know, you have to keep on hitting the screen if you want to change stations. Once you put it in your favorites, you can go ahead and do so. Then it's a one shot. What you can do though is you can adjust the volume, thankfully, on the wheel over here. Otherwise, with the volume, you have to keep on tapping the screen, which that might be a little annoying. You have 3 different memory settings over here for the driver and for the passenger. This is an interesting setup over here. So it's got a digital clock, says it's 11:57, and a sweep second hand. Interesting. The rear view mirror works fine. Obviously, the view out of the back it's a little slim, but the side view mirrors are ample, and if you're backing up, you can see that the screen is nice and large, and you don't have to be looking over your shoulder or anything like that. The other thing I like about this car, let me just show you here real quick because I have it in my pocket, is the key fob. A lot of key fobs now are getting very large because they have a lot of gizmos inside of them. You can self-park and all that. I like the Porsche key fob because it's slim enough I can put it in my pocket without it looking a little crazy. I think that's pretty cool. Over here, you can change the settings on my suspension, Sport Plus. I can go normal, and when I do this, it will actually lower the car. So that's kind of a cool feature too. Got to extend this, do this, and now I'm okay. All right. So that's the interior. I think it's marvelous. I mean, it's Porsche. It's just different because it's all electric. You have 2 cup holders here. You have a little bit of storage room here on the side, and the storage unit is right here. If you want to wirelessly charge your phone, you put it in this little pouch horizontally, and it will wirelessly charge your phone. Pretty cool. I like it. All right, now it's time to put it through the drive test, because that's the best part about a Porsche. So again, put in that gear lever. It only has drive, neutral, reverse, and park, obviously. It sounds interesting. So if I put this in, I have to put it in sport sound mode. Sounds like something out of Tron. It's got kind of cool. You're not going to get that throaty exhaust. You're going to get it from a petrol engine, but that's the whole point. This is a unique car. It's all electric, and I like having a little bit of noise just for some emotion. Get some kind of feedback. Give this thing a pop. Again, 0 to 60 in about 3.8 seconds. This is the 4S. It's got 522 horsepower. The turbo has 670, I believe, and then the turbo Turbo S has 750 horsepower, which is fast. And so you can go from 3.8 seconds down to 3 seconds, down to 2.6 seconds, 0 to 60. And that is plenty fast for anybody, but it doesn't blow you back in your seat. It's just such a nice rush. It's like going on almost like a roller coaster amusement ride. It's just effortless power. Works out really well. Seating positions are great. Side lumbar supports really nice. Everything is within reach of my touchpad. I get all my information right up here. And let me get around this guy. So let me punch it and show it. Holy moly! Whoa! I mean, it's an e-ticket ride at Disneyland. There is no doubt. Wow, that's fun. The handling is great. again, it doesn't blow you back in your seat. You just feel it viscerally. I mean, it just, there's some G-forces working with this. I can also change the suspension. I have it in sport mode right now. I can put it in sport plus, and it stiffens it up. It also lowers the car a little bit for a little more aerodynamics. I think that's a cool feature. Right now, since I have it in sport, I'm going to have 139 miles left. That's what it shows on my speedometer. Hear that? Whoa! I mean, that is just a thrill. That is pure adrenaline right there. It's such a crazy feeling because you don't really hear any exhaust. You hear the noise through the speakers, and that's a nice feature. But it's just the overall rush of all of a sudden you're like in this time capsule and you're just zooming. It is really neat. I think I can go a long way in these seats. Very comfortable, heated and cooled, which is always nice. Really good visibility for a car like this. And that noise, boop, just a cool sound. Oh, it makes me giggle. Again, more miles of smiles. The handling is crisp, it's planted, the wheels are large enough, it's wide enough. As you can see when we showed you how the rear's kind of billowed out a little bit, bulged out. Again, wide tracking. When I make this U-turn here, you'll see how quickly it can make it. It's very tight turning radius. I would fall in love with this car. Now, is it your only car? Maybe not, because you still got to charge it up somewhere. One of the things that Porsche will do is they'll have a technician come to your house and make sure you can be wired for the highest possible charging, which means the quickest charging. You can get this thing charged, I believe it's 80% in like 20 minutes, which is really pretty good. So I make this little U-turn. It's only one lane. Wow, that's really good. So again, you can charge it at your house. You can go to a charging station. Charge ports work really well. And you can get an app. You can get the ChargePoint app, and it will show you where all the charging stations are near you in case you need a quick juice boost. But that's the thing about electric. Again, some people have the range anxiety, worry that they're not going to have enough juice to get home or get to a charging station. What I like about this, no matter what mode I have it in, I can put this, it will go ahead and tell me what my max range is. Right now I have 143, as long as I don't go over 70 miles an hour, and it has a governor when you put it in the range mode. It's kind of like their eco mode, so that you're not going to go over 70 miles an hour. Pretty good. Keeps you from doing something crazy like I normally would. And then if you put it in Sport Plus, you're going to get a whole different feeling. It sounds like a real life Jetson car. I mean, it's just all power and all fun and crazy noises, and just it's the future, folks. You better get used to it. And when they can do stuff like give you an 80% charge in 20 minutes, I'm in. Because I always thought that until they could make an electric car charge from empty to full about the same amount of time I can fill up my gas tank, I'm in. So bravo Porsche for this Taycan. It's an experience, to say the least, and I had a lot of fun driving this around because it's a Porsche drive, Porsche looks, and coming into the new age of electronic power, clean power, no more petrol, no more gas pump. Nice job. Nice job. So there you go, the inside, the outside, and the driving performance of the 2020 Porsche Taycan. I want to thank Park Place Porsche of Dallas again for the opportunity so we can showcase this to you. This is the 4S model. This is the base model. This starts at $103,000. This one nicely appointed at $148,000. You can also look at the Turbo and the Turbo S and that rises all the way from $150,000 to $185,000. Again, all electric, all fun, and oh boy, the power and the acceleration in this puppy. So thanks once again for checking out Avidgolfer Magazine's Drive Time feature. Please subscribe to our YouTube page as well.